dead boy.
I got a hundred. I'm from New York, New York. And you know I'm all about big chips, cause baby, I'm from New York, New York. I'm from the city of the terrorists. Yes, I'm from New York, New York. I got a hundred. I'm from New York, New York. And I know. Yeah, this is Uchi the Wally, your monologues getting tired. Now it's time to ride. Print this, you fired, you no longer desire. So take off them silly chains, put back on your wire. I'm on fire, highly dipped in octane. Let East Coast, let West Coast, and Rue gon' bring the ghetto gospel to every hood possible. Pushing through in the sky blue, back with the God.
It was just before 8 p.m. Two groups of young men are standing outside the neighborhood bodega. Suddenly, one of them opens fire and it's pandemonium. 5 will be hit with gunshots to the chest and back, in the arms and legs. Amazingly, no bystanders were wounded, but it was only one of several shootings last night. In just 6 hours, there were 7 shootings with 13 victims. One of them, a 15-year-old in Harlem, was killed. A rising tide of gun violence that touched every borough last night. And it all comes as police have struggled for weeks to control violent assaults in the New York City transit system. Today we asked Mayor...
This ain't a movie, even he got his head on the globe. And I was just about to find God, but now that makes...
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. A little hyped up here right now. Welcome back to a new episode of the Law Library. You know, I would just want to be clear as much as possible. The Law Library in penitentiary, Law Library in public courthouses and all that have tables where you can sit down and have discussions, usually about the law, but you can also have general discussion. Tonight, we're going to have a discussion about gun violence. We're going to have special guest once again. Miss Caroline going to be on here. She's here right here next to me.
Good evening.
Yes, and she's been victimized by gun violence. She'll tell you her story herself. So let's get it.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Quick recap on what happened to me. In the year of 2020, October 2020, I was in front of my house where I was actually shot 2 times. Once in my head and once in my right arm. It resulted in me having a 12-hour brain surgery where I now have a metal plate. Fortunately, I've healed well. What you guys think?
I think so. You got to thank God you're here. Yeah.
Physically, I've healed well. I mean, of course, there's still some visual scars, but not many at all. But definitely a lot of emotional scars, which I choose to take that energy and pour back into my community in a positive way.
And how's that?
For one, I am involved with Tailor Made for a King, for short TMK, which we do a lot of outreach work. We do a lot of trauma-based work as well as reentry. We try to target at-risk youth to find out what's going on with them, what it is that they need, what are they missing.
Okay.
What are they missing? Like what trauma have they experienced? And what could we do to help ease that? You can't end it. You can't fix it. You can't undo it. You understand me?
But you do address it somehow.
But we definitely do address it. We also work with a lot of young people, as well as some older people, on conflict resolution and being able to communicate effectively. Because a lot of problems within our community arises simply out of us not being able to express ourselves correctly. We get offended and we immediately go into emotions because a small incident, which might seem small to you and I, it can trigger something that a person has already dealt with, a trauma that's unhealed.
So would you say people are actually seeking treatment or therapy in the form of talk therapy, some type of therapy to address that trauma?
I definitely would never lie and say it's that black and white. Unfortunately, in our communities, it's looked down upon to seek therapy and seek treatment. It should not be, but it is. A lot of us, our pride won't let us because we're afraid of a stigma being attached to us or people judging us, thinking that we're crazy, X, Y, Z. So we don't just run out and seek treatment when we have emotional issues. We don't.
Okay.
Sometimes we have experienced so many things, be it firsthand or if we experience it secondhand, just from living in the community and knowing somebody who knows somebody who something happened to, or you witnessed something, that you'll tell yourself it's not that big of a deal because it happens all the time where you live. But that does affect you. It does change the way you're thinking.
Okay.
It does. As a human
agree.
being, it does.
I would agree.
We just don't realize it because we eventually become desensitized.
Oh, desensitized. So when you say desensitized, you mean that it's common in our communities that we hear about people being victimized by guns.
Absolutely.
Like, yo, such and such been shot, he in the wheelchair.
Definitely.
Or such and such been shot. We gonna light some candles for him.
Definitely.
And this is the regular thing that happens, so
Definitely.
you don't really feel that kind of way. You know, like somebody come help us. No,
Exactly.
we don't ask for help because we
Right.
used to it.
Exactly.
And thus, therefore, desensitized.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay, I would agree to that.
Yeah.
Me
And
myself. Go ahead.
I'm listening. No, I don't want to cut you off.
Okay, so me myself at the age of 16, or I think it might have been 15, I also was shot. I was shot in the neck, and I was up to no good at that time. I was doing stick-ups and everything, and the person, I bust, he bust, I bust, he bust. He caught me, and I thank God that I'm still here.
I'm grateful
So-
that you're still here also.
So what we have right now in the panel, when you think about it, is we have 2 survivors of gun violence.
Right.
So I want to go back, and I want to just say this, that it's very important. See, when we talk about getting therapy and we talk about getting treatment for these traumatizing events that happen in our lives, what I think is, and this might be common to some people that's listening in the audience, I think what happens, what we do in our community is we self-medicate.
Oh, yeah.
I'm talking about
You cannot be more right.
Hennessy
You
coming.
cannot be more right.
Right, Hennessy come into play.
The oxys, the perks,
All
the
that.
Zans, all of that. All of
Right,
that.
right, right.
Without a prescription for it.
Right.
We just go out, we get it, and we feel that's going to make things better because it's going to numb us for that moment.
It
or
does.
alter what we're feeling. It suppresses. I'm going to say it suppresses because we think that it numbs in our community. In reality, it doesn't numb it because most people that I've spoke with, and I've spoke because I don't indulge, but I know a lot of people who do. I've interacted with people who do. And I ask questions. I'm a curious kind of person. Because I can't help you if I don't know what's going on with you.
Questions like what?
I ask, like, when you choose to do this, like, what does it do for you? What do you feel? Like, what's going on in your head as it's how long does it, for one, how long does it take for you to feel anything different? You know, like, I ask all these kind of questions. But a lot of times, people let me know once they pop they Zan, they perk, the whatever it is that they pop. In a lot of cases, they're like in a video mode of replaying their pain. They're replaying their trauma.
They tell you that?
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that from several people.
Okay.
So it's not numbing.
Okay.
It may make you able to deal with it at that moment where you believe that you're dealing with it.
Okay.
You understand me? Some people say the opposite. Some people say it allows them to not think about it at all.
That's the numbing effect I'm talking
Right.
about. Okay.
Some people do say that they don't think about it at all.
Right.
They just go like they just overdo into whatever they're doing at that moment.
Okay, so do any of them actually tell you they sought out professional therapy? Do you hear that? Or is that far
Okay,
in between?
no, it's not far and in between, but okay, there's a difference. It's a difference between seeking out professional therapy
Right.
and being mandated to seek professional therapy. Those are not the same.
Of course, because one is mandated, one is voluntary. But who would mandate you if you're a victim of a street crime?
For one, unfortunately, victims of street crimes within the tri-state area, they don't care too much about us. I'm gonna be honest.
Who's they?
The government, the city, the state.
Okay.
Like, I hate to say that, but from my personal experience, I was not involved in any criminal activity whatsoever when I experienced what I experienced. None of my children were involved in criminal activity at that time. You understand what I mean?
So nobody had you down as a target.
Right. So I wasn't anybody's target. I was working in healthcare, okay? I lived in Newark, New Jersey. I was working in Williamsburg, Brooklyn for a corporate dental office.
Okay.
Nothing about my life is what is. How do you put it, to where you would expect that was what was going to happen, other than just the location of where I live. But my experience is, with that being said, with me not being involved in having any criminal ties, I didn't get any real help. I didn't get any real services. My children didn't receive any real services. So
wait. Your children affected by what happened
absolutely.
to you? Okay. Do you want to tell?
And I don't mean to sound disrespectful the way I responded.
I just want to get it out there.
If you're a 15-year-old child, my youngest child was 15 years old when I got shot.
Okay.
He was the only one of my kids home. He's a 15-year-old high school student. You hear gunshots in front of your door. You don't know that's your mother at the time, but you hear the gunshots. You go in the family group text to go, everybody be careful when y'all coming in the house because they shooting on our block. It sounds like it's in front of our house. And an hour or two later, you find out that's your mother. How does that not psychologically affect you?
Okay.
Like, there's no way in the world that does not affect you psychologically.
So that was a wave of trauma that hit you first.
Yeah.
And then it passed on to your family once they found out what happened.
Exactly.
So, okay. Now, you said you was law-abiding citizen at the time,
right.
blah, blah, blah. So you wasn't a victim of a robbery? Didn't take
No,
nothing
I didn't
from
get
you?
robbed or anything like that. No.
Okay.
Didn't
so
get robbed. Nothing like that.
No further
I appreciate that. But yeah, but with that being said, I didn't, my family didn't receive any services. Yeah, they have the crime victim services, crime victim advocates.
Right.
I met some nice people through there, and I met some people that were very condescending at the same time. With that being said, and I get that, some of the condescending people, it simply comes from being desensitized. Once again, I'm going to use that word, desensitized. Because they live within the same community, they work in a trauma hospital, they see gun violence day in, day out. So they automatically start off with asking you the questions of, are you gang affiliated? Or you have kids? How old are your kids? Are your kids in the gang? Did it asking you all these questions? Do you have a criminal record? No, I have none of this. None of my kids do. Neither do I. And then once they get past that, they check on you from time to time.
Okay.
Some of them do. I had one wonderful Nene. She was wonderful. One advocate that she really did take a personal interest. She checked on me. She really went with doctor's appointments. She did those things.
She escorted you?
She absolutely did. She escorted me. It wasn't part of her job.
Okay.
It's something that they're supposed to do as advocates, but she definitely went above and beyond. Because I could call her any time of day or night. She would physically go, if I to schedule my appointments, if we couldn't get them on the telephone, she would go into those offices directly herself, and she wasn't obligated to do it. All she has to do is make a phone call and try to place an appointment.
Okay.
But she did those things.
So she went out of her way to help you.
She definitely went out of her way to help me. She definitely did. But with that being said, I don't feel, I know my children would have benefited from getting therapy, from at least being offered. It wasn't even offered.
Did you know about it being in healthcare? You said you worked in healthcare.
Okay, did I know about it? Of course I've known about it because I was in dental health at that time. Prior to that, I was in medical health. But at that particular moment, with me experiencing, I have a traumatic brain injury. I have other injuries. Right. I'm just fighting to recover and to regain myself. Right. So those things were the furthest from my mind. You understand me? Yeah. And my children, they hadn't experienced anything like that firsthand. They have had friends where things have happened, but that was their friends. That wasn't their mother, their father, or one of their siblings. So they hadn't had the type of experience to know what services could have been offered or should have been offered. Okay. You understand me? Right. So no. So back to the original question. I don't want to stay too far off topic. How many of them say that they sought out treatment? No. Some people do seek out. They don't seek out. Some of them actually get mandated. So you said as a victim, how would you get mandated? Exactly. Some victims are victims because, as you had explained, you went back. Unfortunately, when you were injured, you was involved in other activities at the time. So sometimes when someone gets, shot, stabbed, or whatever, and they do investigations, and it leads back to maybe it was a drug dispute, there was a robbery going wrong, so forth, what have you. There may be pending charges against the person at the same time as them recovering. In those cases, you may get mandated by the court.
Okay.
to seek counseling.
Okay. So that's going through the system.
Exactly. So that's going through the system,
Okay.
and that's how you'll get mandated.
Right.
As far as an everyday victim where they can't tie, and I don't like to use the word victim, I'd rather say a survivor. As far as a regular everyday survivor that they can't tie your situation to anything.
To criminal activity.
Exactly.
Right. Okay.
It's, you have to ask for it. They don't just offer it. Like, they may have a few conversations with you. And the state that I was in when it took place to me, the state of New Jersey, they offered me some services, which were a joke. And why I say it was a joke, they had me at Rutgers Behavioral Health, to where every 3 to 4 weeks, they changed my therapist.
Okay, so you couldn't bond with one particular
Exactly.
one.
Not only can I not bond with one particular one,
Some of that
even
stuff,
if I
yeah.
came close to starting to bond with somebody,
Okay.
once they change it, they want you to start from scratch with your story all over again.
So where did your notes go? They just...
That's what I would ask. I've asked that several times.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, this is procedure.
Oh.
So I'm like, this isn't helping me because you're not allowing me to get past it. I'm going, and it's as though I'm re-looping it constantly.
How did you feel about that?
It felt like being re-victimized.
Wow.
Because if I have to constantly relive details of what I've experienced
Repeatedly for
each
therapist that they're
therapy,
okay.
it makes you not even want to go.
Okay.
And then each time they just give you a different medication for it. And I'm like, I'm not taking all these medications.
Right.
This isn't helping me.
So they wanted to drug you up.
Exactly.
Drug you up for the physical pain, and now here they go. They want to drug you up for
psychologically,
the mental pain.
and I mean,
I
and
get it.
somebody gets paid for everything.
Right, I get it.
But it's not coming to a benefit for me personally. It's not allowing me
Okay.
to heal.
Okay.
It's only making my feelings worse, not better.
Okay. I don't want to cut you off, but I
No.
want to get some information out there.
Absolutely.
So I was doing some research,
Mm-hmm.
and one of the articles that I pulled up, a research article, and it was talking about police violence towards young black men and people of color, different non-white ethnic
Mm-hmm.
groups. So I just wanted to read this real quick. So it says, police violence is a leading cause of death for young men in the United States. Over the life course, about 1 in every 1,000 black men can expect to be killed by police. What kind of shit is that? Risk of being killed by police peaks between the ages of 25 and 35 for men and women, and for all racial and ethnic groups. So now, we know that when police kill one of us, we have great outrage. We had Eric Gardner, we had George Floyd,
Right.
we had Breonna Taylor. I mean, we could go on and on and on. The list is long. We had the gentleman in Chicago that they found out had mental health issues, but they claimed he was a threat. I can't call his name right now. The young boy that they shot, I believe, was 60 times. They shot him once, and he hit the ground, and they kept shooting. And the young man passed away. The police officer went to trial. That was in Chicago. I'm quite sure people know about that. So, but one of the things that gets me is like, what do we do, and where's the outrage when we have two 17, 18, 19-year-old kids, young men, right? One from one area and another one from not even a half a mile away, two black young men.
It could even be two from the same block. They could live across the street from each other, and it can happen. I've seen it.
It could be from the same building, same floor.
Yeah.
But where's the outrage about that? You know, what I'm saying is, like, let's look at both ends of the spectrum, but I believe our end of the spectrum need to be addressed.
Oh, I agree.
And it's not being addressed in our community.
I definitely agree wholeheartedly.
You know, so I just feel some kind of way. I don't know how you feel about it, but I find it like you ain't got nothing better to do but go around and killing each other when y'all look like each other, y'all grow up together.
This is where I'm coming from when I say that we are desensitized.
Okay.
Because what happens is, for one, we feel like nobody cares about us. This is not me, my personal feelings.
Okay.
This is conversations I've had. A lot of the youth feel unheard. They feel like nobody cares about them. It's a waste of time to expect law enforcement to do anything within our communities.
Right.
So what they do is they take things into their own hands. And more often than not, they are creating a larger problem than what already exists. The problem that we have in our community is already rampant. Okay, and
Okay.
they feel they have nobody else to go to. So whatever happens, it's like what's this new term? I'm a stand on business. I stand on business, and that's how they feel. So they feel like I'm not calling the police. You did this to me, or you did this to my sister, my brother, whatever. I'm not calling the cops. I'm going to bring it to you.
So standing on the business means killing each other.
Exactly. And what no one is understanding is we are killing each other simply because we don't know how to communicate with each other. Because all of these are all of these shootings that we have within our own community, within our own youth, with the people that look like each other.
That's what we're talking about.
I'm not gonna say it's never an extreme situation. Please don't get me wrong.
That is never extreme.
I'm not. No. What I'm saying is this.
Right.
It's not right, no matter what. I'm not trying to make an excuse or a justification, but what I'm trying to state is this right here.
What's that?
Every one of these situations is not the extreme, meaning, oh, I'm coming to shoot you because you raped my mother. That's different. Oh, I'm coming to shoot you because you shot my brother in front of me, so I know for a fact you who shot my brother. You understand? Doesn't make it right. I'm not justifying it. I'm saying that's the extreme. You understand me? Then there's the next extreme where somebody felt offended. You bumped into me and you didn't say excuse me.
Right.
So now, oh, F you, this, that, suck my SMD, da-da-da-da-da-da.
Right.
Matter of fact, what? Let me call my shooter. I got a shooter, you got a... And everybody's shooting each other. Now you got four minority males' lives changed, okay?
I'll give you hit that.
One to two dead, okay? 1 to 2 in jail.
Okay.
Somebody on the run. You understand me?
Right.
Either way, this is still a mental impact that they have to deal with for the rest of their lives. Everybody involved, life has been permanently altered. You understand me?
Okay, wait. Let me just say this. So, going back over it, what I hear is, and it's significant, what I hear is, one, in a situation like this with gun violence in our community, we're greatly affected. I did some reading.
Yeah.
And what I've read is that it's a public health crisis.
It is.
With these guns and the death and the youth. Two, we just said when I had the brother Bobby G on the Law Library last week, in the last episode, I specifically pointed out that two lives are lost in a situation like that. One goes to the graveyard. He can't come back. There's no bringing him back
at all.
Two, the other person is going to the penitentiary in the prime of their life.
Right.
You know, and we was talking about, he said, yo, they could get him off his plea, flat 25.
His life is still never the same.
His life is never the same. But then the families are affected for each side, you know, and then there's also something that you said about, and I said it as well, about self-medicating. We're dealing with now substance abuse.
Absolutely.
So so these traumatic events could lead to now more problems on top of that problem.
Hold
it. So it's now leading to substance abuse. Then the next one is, what I'm hearing is, just on our discussion, I'm thinking about it, is that it's scientifically proven that between these ages, like 16 to 24, they say the brain is not fully developed.
Yeah.
Therefore, these young men and women are not really capable of rationalizing the cause and effect and the end result. And this is why me and my brother, T.A., Law Bless His Soul, would say critical and consequential thinking.
Absolutely.
So that's not being had. Then what I also hear is you saying that you do work with these kids with, what's the organization?
Tailor-Made for King.
And then the organization I work with, I'm not approved to say it, but what I do is I work in counsel in groups. And my team works, I got a team that works with me, and we dealing with these young men and women. And then when I was at work today and I asked my supervisor, I said, do me a favor. He said, what's that? I said, tell me, out of the group of people that I got in my group, how many people are dealing with gun cases?
Right.
Do you know, out of 10 people, it's like 4 or 5, almost half of the young men that's in the part of my program have possession of a weapon.
Right.
So at 17, 18, you know, do you really feel the need, and they obviously do feel the need to stay strapped up and carry a gun?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
all these young men is on probation for possession of a weapon.
Right.
So what I'm saying to y'all, ladies and gentlemen, who's listening to the Law Library, and I appreciate y'all tuning in. And if you got anything you want to say, like and subscribe. Please hit that button, ring that bell, and all that good stuff. Is that we got to work on that as a whole. The whole community, it's a saying, and y'all heard it. I'm gonna repeat it. It's never repetitious. It takes a village to raise a child.
Yes.
Now the other part of that, the negative part of that, is I get it. Some people are scared. Who want to talk to an angry young man that got automatic weapons on him, banana clips and all that? How can you even approach him to say, "Yo, excuse me, young brother, nothing good gonna come out of carrying that gun"? You know, in the field that we in, working with these crisis managers and working within the crisis management system, and addressing these, working at these programs, and having these youth come in and looking for some form of guidance. You know, it's difficult, but it's a job that got to be done.
Absolutely.
I credit, once again, man, the love for my brother is strong. I credit my brother, like I said at the funeral, like I say now, he used to call 3 o'clock in the morning, "Yo, why? Come get me." I said, "All right, where we going?" He said, "Yo, it's a shooting on something bullet." I'm like, "TA, what the fuck is we going to the shooting for? I'm home in the bed. It's safe over here." You like, "Yo, it's my job. I got to get over here and find out what's going on." And I'm like, "Okay, you talking about weapons, you my brother. I'm not gonna let you go out there by yourself. I'm gonna drop you off over here, but I'm parking around the corner. I'm not getting caught with no stray." And he was like, "Yo, what you bitching up on me?" I said, "Man, I gotta park and then walk back over here with you." So we did that.
Right.
And I love him for doing that. And it led to me doing that. So now I'm doing that work as well. So, but bring it back home again. Don't always bitch and rage and have outrage about the police killing us. Let's address us killing us.
Let's stop that first.
Let's get that under control. Let's talk about that. Let's get that out there. So basically what I'm saying is the violence against each other got to stop. What you think?
Oh, I know it has to stop.
Okay, cool.
There's not going to be nobody left if it don't stop. One way or another.
So now we can't blame, quote unquote, the white man for stunting our growth.
No.
We can't blame, quote unquote, the system
Absolutely
for
not.
holding us back.
Absolutely not.
When we have each other killing it.
And we have to hold each other accountable. That's another
how
thing.
Would we do that?
Accountability.
How would we do that?
First of all, mothers. I'm a mother.
Okay.
So I'm speaking to mothers.
Okay.
As a mother, you know what your child is doing most of the time. Even if you don't know for a fact, as a mother, you get that feeling when something's not right in your child. When something's not the same, when your child's not moving the same. When this is happening, you sit your child down and talk to your child.
Okay.
Find out what's going on. Don't make assumptions. Don't come at them in that way because they're not going to open up.
Confront them, ask them directly.
Right, but you do let them know. I see something's not right. What's going on? Because maybe they done got involved in the streets, or maybe they're in pain because a friend of theirs something unjust recently happened to.
That could happen.
That happens
all the time.
That happens all the time, and they feel like since it's not a family member, my family's not going to care. But this is my friend that I'm with all the time. This person might be closer to me than some of my cousins or some of my siblings.
Right, that's their
so it
family.
hurts me.
Yeah, that's
so
their
no,
family.
I'm not going to come home talking about it because y'all don't care about that. You understand me? But that affects them. So your child needs. Exactly.
Lack of concern.
Or either you don't know. Maybe your child might have been stopped by the police aggressively, in the wrong manner, and they didn't want to come to you about it because they feel like this happens all the time. So I mean, what's the point of even saying anything? Exactly. Right. So they might not feel it's worthy of a conversation
with you as a parent. Right.
But it's important that when we can see our kids in pain. Talk to your child.
Right.
Be your child's place that they can come and feel safe.
Right.
Don't make it where your child only has outside to talk to, outside to impress, outside to live and die for, and that's a big thing right now.
Okay. You heard it.
That's a start. It's not going to fix everything, but is that a major start in the right direction?
I believe
yes.
Talk therapy with your child. Talk therapy works. That's why they call it talk. And it's the simplest form. You ain't got to have no degree, no certificate, no license, none of that. You got the First Amendment. This is the Law Library. You got the First Amendment to speak to your own child.
Exactly.
All right, then. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back in conclusion.
Okay.
All right. Right, so we got a brief commercial. Toy Combs Mobile Notary. 347-583-3278. Mobile notaries. She'll come to you. You got any legal documents that need to be notarized, deeds, wills, trust, a power of attorney, what do they call that? Will they pick it up?
Yes.
Mobile notary, Toy Coleman. Get at her. You got any documents, you can't get out the house, you homebound, anything like that, they'll come to you. Mobile notary, any documents, legal documents, deeds, wills, trust, power attorneys, anything like that, any legal documents you need notarized, call this number. The number is 347-583-3278. They'll come to you, notarize your documents, and keep it moving, keep it legal, keep it legit. You heard it here first at the Law Library. So briefly, we're going to head towards the conclusion of this episode. We're talking about gun violence, we're talking about the youth, we're talking about our community, and getting well. So, back to Miss Corrine right here.
Okay.
Victim of gun violence, myself a victim of gun violence. It's been so long ago that, you know what, I've been stopped having nightmares, and I did become desensitized to it.
Oh, I'll wait till that happens. I haven't experienced it yet.
I really did. You know, some people say, yo, what's that knot on your neck? That's where the bullet caught me, right there.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I was about 15. I was out in the street, climbed out the window. My crew was outside, stole the car. We went out, we were sticking up. And the person I ran up on, I'm taking that. And they bust back. I bust, they bust. You know, I heard that somewhere in some record. And that's really what happened. So, I've been a victim of gun violence. But you're right, you can become desensitized because as I grew older, it was a known fact I carried two of them. One revolver, one automatic. Revolver never jammed. So that was how I lived. I don't live like that no more. I use my life example to get back to the youth every day when I go to work, every day in the street, every day on the corner. Somebody stop me at the store, whatever. Yo, gee, I'm going through this or whatever. And I try to sit them down and we talk and we go through it and trying to find a solution. This is what I'm dedicating my life to now. Anti-violence, period. Because it ain't always got to be a gun.
No.
It ain't like a motherfucker won't juke you with a knife. So,
exactly.
You know, right? So,
or crack you with a bat. I mean,
right.
hit you with a car.
Right.
Somebody want to get you, they gonna get you.
Right. So I want to go back to, because see, once we open the door and we start talking about this gun violence, then you got other doors you go through. It's like the Matrix. You open one door and then you got 1,000 other doors.
Absolutely.
You got like you said, self-medication.
Absolutely.
People popping pills. They prescribe you pills for pain. Blah blah blah. You get hooked on that. Then that's not good enough. You go to street drugs. Then, of course, the liquor store is always open. You get pissy drunk. You don't feel shit. Not even a sidewalk. When you fall out, bong. You dig? Then you got mental health issues. A lot of people in
and
our
the people are
community don't want to
self-medicating
talk
from
about
that. First of all, that's a conversation our community has never wanted to have.
Well, we're going to have it here at the Law Library.
And it's a necessary conversation. And
the mental health issue.
Mental health, absolutely.
Right.
There are so many crimes in itself that stem from mental health abuse. What are we going to start with? Sexual assault, child abuse, addictions. Like a lot of that has to do with mental health disorders, and a lot of cases people trying to self-medicate.
So
other
it's a
times, it's a huge combination.
Right.
You have to also get the combination of
all those things
everybody in the family knowing little Frankie's a little bit off, but we're going to act like we don't see that and we don't know that. Okay? That little Frankie's terrorizing cats and dogs and cutting their tails off, and we act like that's no big deal. It's let's be quiet. But it is. But nobody talks about it. Everybody's embarrassed to get their kids help because what you're trying to say, my kid crazy? No, baby, I'm not saying your kid's crazy. I'm saying there's something going on.
I don't want to cut you off. Listen to that word, crazy. It's a common word we use.
It is, but it's a very offensive word. People automatically put on defense. Once you call somebody crazy, you don't think they on defense?
Some could, and some look for that as a praise
Some of them look for that because it's like this. It's like why we call each other niggas. We don't like it.
I don't use that word.
I'm not saying you do. I know
No,
you
no,
don't.
but
I'm giving you a prime example. We don't like it. We don't want nobody else calling us that. But will we call each other that? Because we have taught ourselves, well, if I turn that negative into a positive, or I turn that negative into I have control over it, and I can control how it's used and when it's used, then it's okay. It's not okay. It's offensive. It's derogatory. And people don't want to be called that.
I beg to differ. Because what I found out is that when asked, like, so-called representatives of our community or people that's out there in the news, whether it's entertainment or whatever, what they say is, oh, that word, the N-word, is a term of endearment.
And it's not.
No. It's a term that identifies you as nothing throughout the beginning of slavery and history of black people, dark-skinned people, nigga. Then they change it. Let me just run through this history.
I'm not stopping you.
How about this? At one point, okay, coming over here as slaves, whatever, in the beginning, late 1400s, 1500s and all that, nigga, nothing, right? Then it was, at some point in time when we hear, is Negro. Negro, that negative connotation is knee, short for negative, grow, Negro. You're not going to grow nowhere. Then they couldn't find all the name, and this is really crazy. Think about this. So now, looking for identity and getting that identity from the same people that brought us over here, they turned around and called us a hairstyle. Afro-American. Afro-American. Got the Black Power pick. Boom, you kick, you combing your hair, you blowing your afro. So now you call me Afro-American? So what if I ain't got no afro? I ain't got no afro nowhere.
I was going to say, you ain't got no afro. You ain't going to worry about that.
I got a bald head. So what would they call me? Baldy American? But my point is that a lot of these terms we accept. I don't. And I always speak on my past. I don't live there. I do use it for example. I first went to the penitentiary upstate in Elmira, and I played it on one of the records. It's the introduction. I think it's a Stevie Wonder song where he said,
Living for the city?
Living for the city. What do he say now? You've been found guilty by a jury or your peers. Then you hear the cell door slam. Bam. Get in that cell, nigga. Why I gotta be nigga? Why call me by my number if you're gonna call me anything. But my point is, we give these different meanings to these different words, and we need to straighten that out.
Did y'all agree to this though?
Excuse me, what is it?
Use the word nigga, right? That's why I say I don't let it affect me in that sort of way no more. Because a lot of people say it, but
they
don't have the knowledge behind it. Like they not even saying it because they try.
And that's my point. And we're going to use that word again. Desensitize. That's the word of today. That's the night's word. Desensitized. We have become desensitized that we haven't educated our children to know the origins of that word, the root of that word. Many of us have children that have no clue of what it is, other than the fact that if I'm black, I can say it. You can't say it because you're not black. That's what they know. They don't know the ins and the outs, and that's something that once again, as parents, we need to sit down and have conversations with our kids.
Hold on. I seen the movie on TV.
Okay.
Caucasian people.
Okay.
And the white girl, right? Got nothing against it. The white girl is calling the other white dude that was in the car. It was a scene, and she said, "Shut the fuck up, dumbass nigga." And I said, "Yo, this shit is on TV."
Yeah, it's been
it's
that.
In the movie, it's on TV.
Yeah. That's
so now
my point.
The white people is calling each other niggas.
Yes.
I was shocked. I was like, yo.
I'm not.
I'm talking about, I was shocked that it was on TV.
But I'm not.
Here's the flip side to it. That's why I say you got to give the kids the knowledge behind it. Because now you got some people that you was like, well, nigga, they'll stab you, they'll cut you, they'll shoot you.
Yeah.
They take it real personal because it's something that it goes back to our ancestors.
Yeah.
So
it's a trigger. For some people, it's a trigger. For some people, it means nothing. Me personally, I'm going to be honest.
Okay, be honest.
I'm personally, and I'm not telling anyone else how to feel. I don't have the right to tell another human being what to feel and what not to feel.
Okay.
Me personally, I don't let it get under my skin because I've experienced so many other atrocities in life. That for me personally right now,
that's on the bottom level.
That's not the fight that I'm going to choose. Only because, not saying it's not a worthy fight. Right. I'm saying that pick and choose your battles, okay? If you run around fighting every single battle, you're not going to have energy for the real war at hand. You understand me? And that's not my real war.
Right, okay.
My war is trying to save any life that I can save. Any life that I could save. I don't care if it looks like me, if it don't look like me.
Right.
My war right now is trying to prevent anybody that does not already have a criminal record from obtaining a criminal record. That's the war that I'm fighting. You understand me? So I will discuss it. And I will give my opinions about it when speaking with young people and other people who use it. But I don't use that for my personal war right now.
That's the population you work with?
I need more energy. Yeah, I need energy to deal with bigger things, and no one's gonna listen if you chirp about every little tiny thing. Because then it's like, oh, she on her soapbox again. Whatever. Like, no. So I need you to listen to me when it's something of importance, of you not going to jail, you not killing somebody. You understand me? You're not getting yourself killed because you don't know when to back down.
Right.
But like you just said, though, it really goes on what we're teaching the kids.
Exactly.
They don't even got the knowledge behind it.
Right.
And now you got grown adults that will hurt a kid for saying it.
Yes.
Okay. So it's like everybody take that word differently.
Yeah.
They do. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Me, when somebody says it, right, I'm also looking who's saying it.
Exactly.
Right.
Why it's being said.
Yeah.
Right.
And then is it anywhere it makes sense for me to even co-sign or...
Right.
Exactly. And that's why I say I don't have the energy to fight that particular war, and I'm not minimizing it. I'm not minimizing or downgrading it.
Right.
I'm just saying I have so many other things to fight right now that I don't want to exhaust all my energy on that and have nothing left.
All right, so
to stop a kid from picking up a gun just because somebody stepped on his sneakers, or just because the girl he likes don't like him no more. There's the other girl. You gonna shoot somebody, go to jail? She ain't even visiting you.
Okay,
she didn't like you when you was free. She don't like you now.
Right. So let me just wrap this up. So basically, what it sounds like I'm hearing is, and this is open discussion, ladies and gentlemen, on the Law Library. So what I'm hearing is that our community is sick and need healing.
Absolutely.
The ones who can heal it, unlike doctors in the hospital, if you got a heart problem, you go to a cardiologist. If you got respiratory problems, you go to somebody who works with
pulmonary. Right.
So what we got is rampant murder amongst each other.
Yeah.
We got uncured or unaddressed mental health against
undiagnosed mental health.
Absolutely. And we have severe substance abuse issues.
Absolutely.
In our community. All right, so we're gonna get to all that, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Law Library.
And tons of trauma. Not meaning to cut you off.
Tons
of trauma. Because trauma comes in so many, but it comes in so many brands and so many forms.
Right. Okay.
And just because my trauma is not the same as your trauma doesn't make your trauma less.
Yeah, but trauma is trauma.
That's my point. Because sometimes people feel like people experience trauma and they minimize their own trauma because they know somebody or something worse happened to them. That doesn't make your trauma less. Because it's what happened to you. It affected you that way. You understand me?
And speaking of trauma, speaking of you,
what's that?
I know you did a lot of time.
Go ahead.
Coming home, you dealt with a lot of trauma.
I did.
Whether you come home and get therapy or not, it's something you could be required to receive because just going through doing enough time, that's trauma.
All things being
stabbed, cut, rape, all that. So
all things being transparent, I did seek therapy.
Beautiful. I commend you for that.
Now, the first therapist I had turned around and reported to the agency like, yo, I can't fuck with this dude. I'm like, okay, so why? He said, you got too many goddamn issues, man. I said, yeah, that's what. Yeah, so they was new to the game. They ain't never had an ex-felon. You dig? They ain't never had nobody sit there and tell them, yo, the feds fucked me around, you know what I mean, with the case. I'm running around through different penitentiaries. I tried to escape. I took the police hostage. They was like, yo, hold up, man.
You scared them.
I said, wait a minute. I'm supposed to be able to tell you this. It's public knowledge.
They weren't ready.
You did.
Wasn't ready.
So, you know what I'm saying? They say, wait, you was in federal custody and you tried to escape?
Like, who does that? Are you crazy?
Then when I got to the halfway house on Myrtle Avenue, the police tried to run up on me. Bomb. This is an automatic reaction. Oh, shit, I done broke this motherfucking jaw. Wow. You know what I'm saying? I'm coming out the Fed. They feed you, you eat all you want. I'm coming out there looking like my idol, Mr. America, the Hawk. And they trying to tell me what I can put in the refrigerator, what I can't put in the refrigerator. I said, yo, this ain't no bars in here. I told you I didn't want to come here anyway. Wow. Let me finish my time in the joint. I can get somebody to pick me up at FCI Oldville. Okay. Nah, we need the bed. We're going to send you to Murder Avenue to the halfway house. Wow. You know, and the good thing I had my family. Lance was there, Cool was there, a couple of other brothers I was doing time with. My family was there, whatever. They're like, wow, yo, hold up, slow down, take it easy. I'm like, yo, anybody trying to stop me from what I'm doing? Y'all, I didn't want to come here. Right. Then they tell me back to MDC. They gonna say, oh, you getting on the cleanup crew on the outside. I said, I'm telling you now, if you give me a job working in front of this building, I'm making a phone call and I'm not coming in for tonight's count. Where you going? I said, I'm going about my motherfucking business. No, you got to come back. Well, then don't put me out there because I'm not coming back. I just got that right.
I mean, you can't be more honest than that, now, can you?
So now when I'm telling them that, they like,
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at the situation. Please don't take it as disrespect.
I try
it's
to tell
not.
jokes. Somebody
I'm
told
like,
me I need to be a stand-up comedian.
You should. Because as he's talking, why am I visualizing this conversation? And I'm they trying to go, well, no, we want you to show that you could just do this and come back. I'm telling y'all, I ain't coming back. What part you not getting? Leave me alone.
Yeah, because how you have me
I ain't asked for that.
So,
you locked up, I'm going to stand outside and act like I got freedom. No, I got freedom if you let me outside.
Then you want me to sweep up cigarette butts? And with
I ain't doing all of that.
With the pooper scooper and chicks coming in for the visit.
Oh, God.
But you want me to do that and then come back upstairs and, close my cell in MDC. Man, listen, I'm telling you now, when they ask you where I went, tell them that I told you I left.
That I told you I left.
So, but all right, I kind of like my own jokes. But anyway.
Yeah, so do I, because you got me.
You know what? Not for nothing, though. I want to commend you and Caroline. Just for the law, man, can save somebody's life. And what happens is this. I'm going to be honest. This is what I do to this day. Yeah. I try to instill this shit in the kids. We
got to pass it back.
Absolutely.
All things being serious, no jokes. All jokes aside, we got to bring it. We got to give it back to them because they locking you up for a pistol.
Not even just that. Guess what? I'm gonna let you speak first, Polo.
Go ahead, because I'm gonna tell y'all something. This
is something that we missing on for real.
What's that?
A lot of times, the kids,
they
not really hearing us, right?
Okay.
So I like to put real reality in it.
I'm gonna do it right now.
I say
I'm
like
gonna let
this.
her go.
If you could have somebody give you that knowledge, so you can detour in another direction. Yeah. And don't go to that stop because nothing good comes from it. Because you will get beat up, you will get raped. All these things happen every day. And you don't know when you're going to die. You get up not knowing. As many times you probably was in there not knowing when to be your last day. Right. So these kids need to know. But I'm going to say this, and this was y'all going to beat me up for saying this.
No, I ain't going to beat you up. Go ahead.
I like for kids, when they don't get it, go through that experience.
I'm not beating you up for that because
you could tell them.
They're going to play with your booty. They're going to fuck you. They're going to do all that.
Right. But they need to know. They need to know that.
Go ahead, yeah.
And that's what we said when Bobby was here. That's what we said when Bobby was here. Bobby told you. Right.
When you have them thinking like, because a lot of kids go to jail, come home, and they glorify. Like, yo, I did 10. I did a dime. I did that.
Right.
Yeah.
You're not telling them the other shit that took place. Nobody talks about that. Right. So I think we got to more focus on.
Yeah.
It get ugly.
It get ugly.
No, it does.
Okay.
It's dog for you.
Okay. Karen, go ahead.
But what I was going to say real quick is there is something called the butterfly effect.
Yeah, what is that?
Where
caterpillar turn into a butterfly?
No, not serious. That. No, that's not it.
Okay,
that's not it. Okay. Actually, it's where one small effect in life will send a ripple throughout time that affects something else.
In the same person's life, you're talking
in the
about.
same person's life or someone close within your confines. Okay. I say that to say this. For any of us that think about, like the question you brought up earlier, about how many of us adults are comfortable talking to the youth that's carrying guns and outside in the streets doing what they doing, that for their own safety?
Right.
But guess what? Think about the effect of that child that you could have had that conversation with, that you was uncomfortable to have that conversation with because of, did you know
Fair.
they got a gun?
Yeah, fair.
How about that same child that you had the opportunity to have a conversation with under a good circumstance, 6 months down the line, be the child to take your grandchild's life? Not intentional, didn't know it was going to happen. That child didn't know your grandchild, didn't know that was your grandchild. But that's part of the butterfly effect. How one thing we do today is going to move down in effect. Now, you could have had that conversation with that kid. You might have changed that child's thinking, or got that child to open up about some trauma they was dealing with, so they unloaded some of their anger. You understand me? And sat down and cried and just had somebody talk to them and listen, my father in jail, my mother running the street, I ain't seen my mother in 3 weeks, I gotta live with my aunt, this and my cousins treating me fucked up cause I ain't they son, I ain't they brother, they tired of they mother giving me food, XYZ, I'm tired, I'm fed up, I'm stressed. That child might have needed to have that conversation and cry, but they didn't.
Okay.
You understand? And now, 6 weeks later, they don't want to stay at their own house no more. They tired of their cousin snapping on them. They go ahead, pick up that gun and rob somebody. That was your grandchild they robbed.
That could happen.
It can happen.
Right.
That's just to bring it to the circle of the butterfly effect.
Okay.
And I'll start with this one. What she just said, you can be the same dude that's teaching a kid from a young age so that they dealt life, and they can be the one that kill you.
That can happen too. That can happen too.
Right. So it's like
we have.
Challenge. For me, this might sound crazy. I don't play with kids. I like to be direct with them.
Right.
Because I know at the end of the day, it still will go down to that. I'm more important. I'm gonna hurt you first. Because the thing is, some kids is born cursed. Some kids is just fucked up mentally.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I said the topics. All right. So here's the wrap up. So what now this joke face off, dead ass serious. All right. So now here it is. I need the young people to know.
Mine's on.
Okay. So listen up for 1 minute, please. So I need the young men and women. I start off with kids. No disrespect to anybody listening that's in this age group or any age group. It's just a term. You say, yo, what up, kid? How you, kid? Whatever. Anyway, so this is what y'all need to know. Now, this is the part of the law library where we're talking about the law. Here it is. In New York State or any other of the other 49 states, it's total 50 states. If you convicted of a gun possession or any gun-related crime in the state, you can, and depending on what the politics is in the atmosphere, if you're convicted of a state possession of a weapon, a number of things could happen. One, you could go plead 2 to 4 based on your record or whatever, 1 to 3, quick cop out 2 years in Rikers Island, C-76 or whatever. 2, you could already have a prior conviction and then now the numbers go up. You got a simple possession of a weapon, the weapon being the gun, an operable gun to be specific. Now, you could go do your time. You could be in the penitentiary or a camp, medium level, whatever security level you fall under docks. All right. At that point in time, you could be getting ready. You could call home. Yo, somebody be ready to pick me up on December 23rd, a couple of days before Christmas. Yo, buy me some presents. I'll be there. That's not mandatory because the federal government, at any point in time, once you're criminally prosecuted, it could be before you convicted, either by plea or trial, or after. The federal government could come in and charge you under the 922G, felon in possession of a firearm. Yeah, felon with 924C is a drug-related firearm, but simple possession comes under 922G. The feds can prosecute you. You can turn around and walk out that door. The ATF could be sitting at the waiting room in that jail and rearrest you and re-prosecute you. So fuck around with them guns as you want. You could do a state bid and turn it around and have to do a federal bid. Or sometimes they bargain, the prosecutor, state prosecutor, Eastern District of New York, got a gun case in state Brooklyn Supreme Court, turn around and say, yo, man, we got like 20 cells that's empty. up in FCI Otisville or FCI Farmington in New Jersey or Fort Dix or wherever, let us get the next 200 gun cases. So you prosecute in the state, and the feds make that phone call, say how we want to do them. Say, well, we can have categories. He been convicted before 10 misdemeanors, or you think he keep getting away with it. So prosecute him in the state, and when he get finished, we gonna come get him. They come get you, be like, yo, man, I played only 1 to 3, 2 to 4 for the gun. What y'all talking about? Bro, you violated federal law too at the same time. It's called dual sovereignty. You could get prosecuted by both the state and feds. Turn around. It's called a turnaround. You do a state bid for the gun, then ATF knocking at the door. Yo, let us know when he getting ready to get released. If you don't fuck around with your budget. Don't make us cut your budget. You don't know that kid. You don't give a fuck about him. We do. We need some time out of him too. So what I'm saying to y'all, ladies and gentlemen, in the law library that's listening, that's watching and everything like that, all things being serious, it's called dual sovereignty. You could be prosecuted by the local state government as well as the federal government for the same crime. The crime that I'm talking about tonight specifically is gun possession. That's about it for tonight. Thank y'all for listening. Thank y'all for tuning in. Thank my special guest, Ms. Corrine, who's doing the work down in the trenches, working with the women and the young men that these women and men have never had contact with the law. You saying to keep them from doing that?
Well, no, we have different categories that we deal with. So we deal with a broad spectrum of it.
Okay, so once again, she's putting her work in. We had Mr. Bobby G last week. He's putting his work in actually on Rikers Island. So what I'm going to do, to the best of my abilities, I'm going to bring people in for the young people to know and get this message out that we are working for y'all. We are working to help y'all. We are trying to give you the information, and you got a right to make a choice. So once again, thank y'all for tuning in. This is YKIM at the Law Library with TA and YKIM. And at this point, I'll say peace.
Good night.
I got 100 to 100. I'm from New York, New York. And you know I'm all about big chips, cause baby, I'm from New York, New York. I'm from the city of the terrorists. Yes, I'm from New York, New York. I got 100 to 100. I'm from New York, New York. And I know. Yeah, this is Uchi the Wally, your monologues getting tired now.